All right, here's a fun one for you. What if you could take one of history's greatest minds, René Descartes, and just drop him into a modern car dealership to buy an EV? How would the father of modern rationalism apply his 17th century logic to a totally 21st century problem? Well, that is the exact thought experiment we are exploring today. So this is the central question, right? Forget about stuff like horsepower or cool color options for a minute. We're going to figure out how the man who famously said, "I think, therefore I am," would use pure, unfiltered reason to pick out the perfect electric vehicle. Now, before he even glances at a car, Descartes would first lay out his philosophical toolkit. See, he wouldn't be swayed by gut feelings or some flashy commercial. Not a chance. Instead, he would rely on three core principles that basically defined his entire view of the world. First up, we've got dualism. For Descartes, the world had this super clear dividing line. On one side, you have the mind, the res cogitans, or the thinking thing, our consciousness, our ability to reason. And on the other side, well, that's everything else. The res extensa, or the extended thing, that's the entire physical world, which he basically saw as just matter operating like a giant machine. And that leads us right into his second tool, mechanism. Descartes saw the entire physical universe as one gigantic, intricate machine, kind of like a cosmic clock. From the planets spinning in space to, yes, even animals, it was all just matter in motion, totally governed by the clean, predictable laws of math and physics. And finally, his most famous tool of all, methodical doubt. The whole idea was simple but pretty radical. Doubt everything. I mean it. You reject any belief unless you can prove it with absolute certainty through cold, hard evidence. To him, assumptions were the enemy of truth. Okay, so the toolkit is ready to go. Now let's see how Descartes actually applies it, starting with the very heart of the car. He'd compare the old-school combustion engine with a modern electric motor. And honestly, for him, the choice would be made in an instant. I mean, just look at the difference here. A combustion engine is a hot, loud, chaotic mess of tiny, violent explosions. It's fundamentally inefficient. An electric motor, though, it's silent, it's linear, and it's predictable. It is a perfect expression of mathematical elegance. For a mechanist like Descartes, there's absolutely no contest. This is pure, rational order taking on messy, unpredictable chaos. Order wins every time. And this fascination with machines goes even deeper. You see, Descartes famously believed that animals were just complex, soulless automata. So can you imagine what he would think of autonomous driving systems? He would be absolutely captivated. Software using pure logic to control a physical machine? To him, that is the ultimate proof of the thinking mind imposing its will onto the physical world. It's reason made real. But hold on, Descartes wouldn't be sold just yet. Sure, he's impressed by the idea of an electric motor, but now his most powerful tool comes out to play: methodical doubt. It's time to really scrutinize what the manufacturers are claiming. So imagine him walking into a showroom. The salesperson starts going on and on about incredible performance and amazing battery range. Would Descartes just nod along and believe it? No way. His skepticism would kick in immediately. He sees a big, promising number like this on a shiny brochure. 410 miles of range. Sounds amazing, right? But to Descartes, this is just an unproven claim. It's a belief, not a fact. And as we know, he rejects all beliefs until they're proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. And this is the crucial part. He would demand the data. He wouldn't trust the number on the dashboard or some slick marketing slogan. He would want to see the results from independent empirical tests. He'd want the mathematical calculations proving the car's efficiency. Without cold, hard, verifiable evidence, that 410-mile number is completely meaningless to him. So, after applying his mechanistic worldview and his skeptical method, what car does our 17th century philosopher actually pick? Well, the answer isn't as simple as just one specific model. It really depends on what his main rational objective is. So his final choice really depends on his primary goal. Let's break down the possibilities. If his objective was to see the absolute peak of engineering efficiency, a real computer on wheels, he might go for a Tesla Model S Plaid or a Lucid Air, and he wouldn't care about the status symbol. He'd be fascinated by the raw data and the obsessive focus on mathematical purity. Now, if his goal was more about a balanced, proven rationality, he might land on something like a Tesla Model 3. It's a great mix of efficiency, tons of all-documented data, and logical software. But what if his goal was just pure minimalist logic? To strip away all the non-essentials? In that case, the most rational choice would be a simple, compact European EV. It does its job predictably and efficiently, without any extra noise. It's just the most logical tool for the job.
Okay, so after all of this analysis, what's the big lesson from our philosophical test drive? It might not be exactly what you think.
At the end of the day, the specific car Descartes parks in his driveway, it's kind of beside the point. For him, the real victory isn't the car. It's the process. It's about taking a complex, modern problem and using a rigorous, rational method to find a clear answer. It's a great reminder that using reason, order, and evidence isn't just for 17th century philosophy, it's how we can navigate our own messy world. Which brings us to the only logical conclusion, a modern spin on his most famous quote. And it just perfectly captures his journey. After dotting everything and analyzing all the mechanics, he arrives at a clear, distinct, and rational conclusion. Cogito ergo guido electrico. I think, therefore I drive electric. Thanks so much for coming along for the ride on this philosophical test drive. It's a fun way to remember that the tools of reason, handed down through the centuries, are more relevant today than ever. So maybe the next time you have a big decision to make, just ask yourself, what would Descartes do? We'll see you on the next Explainer.